Whew. Wow, YouTube, that was close. I gotta tell you, I never thought I'd lose those guys. I'm Lomax, Master of the Academy, and today we're watching Meet the Mandalorians. And suddenly, I feel like I'm not alone anymore. Well, as you can see, I have a couple of guests today, and this time it's not TJ. Surprise of surprise, I know how you feel. So I actually have with me Murdala Adgoron and Winterkill. It's a simple Winterkill, just straight out.
Yes,
Do you bring sunshine and roses, or just death to winter?
I'm a very happy person.
All right then. So Murdala and Winterkill here are both members of the Mandalorian Costume Club, which is a worldwide organization. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? What exactly do you guys do?
Well, we're primarily a charity-based organization. It's people that build costumes. We go out and do different events, awarenesses, fundraisers, and things like that to support various charities from, Make-A-Wish, muscular dystrophy. There's a huge list of them we do. We even have our own, which is Little Warriors International, that goes to support, kids and things like that might be either having a tough time. We're also involved with BOBA, which is an anti-bullying organization as well.
That's a good cause. I'm always for the anti-bullying. Being bullied a lot as a kid, I never participated in it as an adult either, I guess I could say. So you're both officers of the local clan here. Now, it's called a clan, but are there different levels? I mean, like, versus like 3 people versus 100 people in one area. What's the different levels of the groupings?
In order to be, there's different levels. There's clans and then there's strongholds. Those are the 2 main levels. For a clan, you have to have 7 members that have approved costumes. And then for the strongholds, is it 5? I'm trying to remember.
I think it's 5.
Yeah, you have to have 5 in an area. And by area, for example, Gatalve, which is the clan here in Oklahoma, it encompasses all of Oklahoma. Whereas in Texas, they've got 3 right now. 3 or 4.
4.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Moran, Arquette.
They merged a couple of them at one point
Yeah.
last year. That's why we're a little confused.
Okay,
I wanna
Sorry,
say
guys
it's
down
4.
south.
So let's say, for example, I live up in Billings, Montana, or actually farther north than that. Is there a chance I can find a clan in the area? And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
okay, how would I go about finding a local clan?
Easiest way is MandalorianMercs.org. Go to the forum, and you just scroll down until you see your region. So, in this case, Billings, Montana would be North Central USA. Get in, introduce yourself, say, "Hey, here, I'm here. Who do I need to talk to?
Where are my people?
Where are my people?"
Okay.
And somebody will step up and say, "Hey, you're with us."
And we do also have, they built in a clan locator that you
Yep.
can find through the menu of the site as well.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's
So
a couple different ways to get
that is MandalorianMercs.org. If you didn't catch that, I will go ahead and put a link to that in the descriptions below. Don't forget to click on that after you click the subscribe button. Now, I know a lot of you at home are wondering, how did the Master of the Academy get hooked up with a couple of mercs? Well, it's real simple. I'm the Master of the Academy. Duh. They came and found... No. I would like to say they came and found me, but that is actually kind of what happened. TJ, he's not just a guest on my show. He's like a brother in my home. He's welcome anytime. So just like that best friend that comes in and opens the fridge, he's always there.
Or runs the
And
camera
Yeah.
well, he calls me up one day and says, "Dude, I was walking out to my car and I found this." Now, he let me use this for today. He never goes anywhere without it. It's always in his pocket. And this is called a challenge coin. And I believe that this gentleman right here went ahead and left this coin on his car, and it actually says Gatalvec Clan, Oklahoma, and Mandalorian Mercs on the other side. Now that left TJ with the responsibility or the challenge to find the Mercs, and the reason this happened is because he had a Boba Fett sticker on his car.
We will find you.
And that is exactly how that happened. So he calls me up and tells me this. He contacted them, said he was very happy, excited about it. But at the time, TJ didn't really have the time and everything to put towards the Mercs, but I did. So with me just kicking off my YouTube channel at the time, I called up the Mercs and said, hey, I want to do a filming for episode 7. They said, great. Contact Disney LucasArts and ask their permission. 7 months later, here they are. So it's not just you finding them. They can actually find you and challenge you to find them. I don't know if all the clans have coins like this or not.
Most of them have
Most
done
of
at
them
one
do.
point or another.
I think it's about time we had another one, isn't it?
Yes.
So
He says that because as the officer position I hold is effectively kind of the PR and merchandising officer. So I'm the one that's responsible, but if we want to do a coin, I have to get the logistics done and get that ordered. So that's why he's teasing me about that.
all right.
Thanks, Winterkill.
You're welcome.
Okay. I contacted some of my subscribers and asked them what they would want to ask a Mandalorian if they got a chance. Would you
Please
mind?
don't take me away. I'll pay you double.
Well, anyone who's read the Boba Fett series actually knows that that doesn't work.
Right. But they might want to try anyway.
Yes. So I had fans write in a few questions with some of my subscribers and everything. And would you guys mind fielding a couple of questions for us right now?
Sure.
Not at all.
Okay. So one is, what are the requirements to become a Merc?
Yeah. We actually have a tiered membership. Easiest is just sign up for the forums, and that will get you everything you need for the other tier.
You get started building and all that.
The next tier up is auxiliary or supporter. You've donated to help keep the servers running, because running servers is expensive, and the people that keep them running like to get paid money. And we also have our own charity organization, Little Warriors International, and making a donation to that will get you the auxiliary or supporter membership, which also gives you access to certain things that just regular forum members don't. But official membership is what we're here to do. And the only way to do that is by building a kit, sort of armor, and going through the application process and getting it approved.
Okay. So is building a kit an expensive process? I mean, if I'm a college student and all I have is my tuition, you know, how likely am I to be able to do that?
It's actually not as expensive as you would think. Now, of course, you have the big ticket item. If you buy it, you can spend a decent amount of money on a resin cast helmet.
Couple hundred usually.
I think when I pre-ordered this one, it was right at about 180. I
Mine
have
was
bucket number
165, but I recently got
What
one.
was it? What does it come painted or sanded
No,
or?
raw resin, a little bit of trimming, mostly sanded, unassembled. But there are other options. The trade-off is you put in more of your own time when you don't spend money, which is pretty much with everything. There are other options for building a good quality helmet that will take far less your money, but you're going to spend a lot more of your own time doing it.
You mentioned the trade-off spending more of your own time. Is there a time frame from when you start to when you finish as to how long you have to get your kit completed?
No, there's no time. There's people that I've seen on the forums that have been forum members for years and probably could have built their armor several times over with the amount of reworking they decided to do before they actually had an approved kit. But I mean, ultimately, you need to be happy with your kit as well. So however long it takes you to get what you want, that's how long it takes.
Absolutely. So, with your approved kits, and you said that once or twice, what's the approval process? How do you get your kit, your armor approved?
My position within the Oklahoma clan is basically costume compliance. So when you're building your kit, I'm asking you, show me pictures, show me what you're doing. If I can't be there, if I am there, then I'm looking at it myself. Okay, we may need to fix this. We may need to do some of that. Mostly, I'm a sounding board for the most part, except where it comes to the costume requirements. We set up minimum standards required to become an official member. At that point, I have to say, okay, that's not going to work because this. And then we find a way to incorporate maybe what the essence of your idea was and still fit within the costume requirements. But after you've got your kit built, we have a regional pre-application process. Our region is Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. And we'll take a set of photographs in the style that we use for official membership submissions. And all of the regional Ruslors, costume compliance officers, will look at this forum and make sure that the armor kit is up to standard. Once the region has said this is good to go, then we make sure that you understand, use those sets of photos that we just said to you that were good, and then put your application in on the main website, and then it goes to the application team. The application team does basically the same thing. They review it, and once they've approved it, you get an email saying, proud to have you on the team. You've been approved for official membership.
So I noticed that the two of you guys have very different styles. Is there like a cookie cutter process? I know you guys have like templates, like patterns, but let's say I don't want to be Boba Fett and I don't want to be Jango Fett. What else can I do?
One of the things that I really like about this club is the fact that you don't have to go directly by, movie accurate standards, as we operate within a general aesthetic, if you will. You've got the standard, your T-visor part of it. You've got your chest plates. There are different types of chest plates that have been done throughout the different eras that you can do. So there's a lot of creativity that you're able to do within this kind of scope of, as long as what you're doing fits within the current costume requirements list, you're pretty much good for it, so you don't have to do. Now, in our group, we do have people that submit as Boba, Jango, Death Watch, all those other groups, and those have even more specific things that you have to meet. So you have to kind of play by those guidelines as opposed to kind of the more generalized. Does that make sense?
Okay. So you're saying that if I actually did want to look exactly like Boba Fett, I could do that and that would be okay?
It is, but you have to have your kit built to the standards I think we use for the 501st.
501st is the first.
Yeah, so you have to adhere. You essentially don't get to go just by the CRLs. There's a specific list for Boba Fett you have to follow. There's a specific list for Bo-Katan, Sabine, Pre Vizsla, all of those, if it's a canon character.
Okay. For those of you who are not exactly familiar, the 501st Legion is the stormtroopers that were under Darth Vader's command. They were the only stormtroopers that stayed pure clones throughout the trilogy. The rest of the stormtrooper army was actually volunteers. They had an academy, and it was a very prestigious. I mean, you think maybe not because of how many stormtroopers there are, but honestly, if you look at the population of the galaxy versus how many stormtroopers there are, you are 1%er to be in the white armor. So there is another costuming club, the 501st Legion. You can look them up if you want to go the direction of a stormtrooper. I do know in the Oklahoma City area there's Jedi OKC and Defenders of the Force, so you can look them up, and they do a lot of the more Jedi light side of the Force type stuff.
There's also the Rebel Legion, which is the good guys. You've got the LFL charter groups, which is Mandalorian Mercs is one. 501st was, I think, the first one that did it. Yeah. They're kind of the bad guys. And then you've got the Rebel Legion, which are the counterpart good guys to them. And then there are also the group that you mentioned, that's Jedi OKC, is local to the Oklahoma City area. They do a lot of, we refer to it as cosplay, where you're actually doing the charitable organization things rather than just doing the cons and things like that. They do that here in Oklahoma City. There's a group in Tulsa that's Tulsa Star Force, does the same thing. There is a lot of crossover between memberships. I'm a member of Jedi OKC, Tulsa Star Force, and Mercs. So there you go.
Well, you learn something new every day, I guess. Even a master like myself could learn things he doesn't know. So the next writing question is, if I were to graduate college and move out of state or transfer geographical locations or something, would my membership go with me? And how would I, is the process pretty much the same to contact the people where I'm going?
Yes, it's pretty much the same process, and the membership stays with you. You could go anywhere in the world. You're still a member of the Mercs. We are a worldwide organization. You would just, again, get on the forums, find the area in which you're now geographically located, and contact someone in the area.
Now, our next writing question, I'm actually going to field myself. And the reason is because as Master of the Academy, I have to prove knowledge of the Star Wars expanded universe as well as current canon. I am still catching up on the current canon, but I can tell you this. It has been released by Disney that Boba Fett has survived the Sarlacc pit. Whether that means he'll be in episode 8 or not is still yet to be known. There's a lot of rumors, but nothing has been released. But the question that was written in was, how would Boba Fett survive the Sarlacc pit? Well, this is one of TJ's favorite subjects. It's his favorite character in the original trilogy. He had 5 lines. One of them was a Wilhelm scream. So how he became so popular is beyond anyone's belief or recognition. But the answer is this. He was swallowed whole. He was swallowed alive. The digestive juices of a Sarlacc, if it takes 1,000 years to digest you, really is not that strong. I mean, water decomposes you a lot faster than that. So what you're looking at here is that you now have a live, heavily armed Mandalorian inside your belly. A guy with rockets, a jetpack, grenades, possibly a flamethrower if he takes any after his dad, which we didn't see too much of that action. Maybe they'll address that later on. So in the books, there is actually a Mandalorian trilogy that talks about how Boba Fett got out. And he did. He killed the Sarlacc from the inside and climbed his way out of the Sarlacc pit. The acid had eaten away the cloth part of his armor, but he did survive. It's a fantastic read. If you can go back, go and read these books because, yeah, it's not canon anymore, except for that part now is. But these are books that ran on for 35 years. And it's not like the Star Trek genre. If I'm writing a Star Trek book, I can say Captain Kirk was over here doing something when someone else already put him over here doing something else the same time frame. George Lucas had a continuing universe where if you reference something, it had to have happened, it had to have been written, and what you wrote then became what was. So if you're interested in something that really continues, go with the expanded universe. I'm hoping that Disney continues that with the new canon. The next question is kind of near and dear to my heart because I've been doing this since about the 7th grade, and there are a lot of memes out there right now showing Boba Fett catching them all, and I have to know, how is your Pokemon hunt going?
Well, there are some of our members that their Pokemon hunts are going much better. I think our member Linda just posted that she got level 20, I think. I live in the middle of rural Oklahoma. Not a lot of Pokestops where I am. I'm a level 7, so she's having much better success than I am. But yeah, we do play. Valor. I don't think he plays.
He plays.
I haven't touched it in a week.
Red, yellow, or blue? Which team did you pick?
I picked blue, but I got bored.
Blue and he got bored. You hear that,
Mystic.
Mystics?
You got Mystic? If you play Team Mystic, you will get bored. That's all I'm saying. It seems like Pokemon's kind of a good thing for the Mandos, which is a big cultural thing because everyone's going out and they're meeting new people. But Mandalorians aren't just a race, but they do have a culture in the expanded and hopefully a future canon. So, what is the culture of the Mandos, both in Star Wars and on Earth?
This one I think I'm actually gonna answer in Mando for you. Bajor Babaskagam Ara Novelit Mandoa Bal Mandalore Andan Kuyan Me.
Gesundheit.
Which translates to education and armor, self-defense, our tribe, our language, and our leader all help us to survive. So, as a race, it's not so much a race because there are species that get brought into it. It is more of a community aspect of it. What unifies the Mandalorians is their armor and the way that it looks. Like you can have Bothan, Twi'lek, Wookiee, pretty much any race in Star Wars can become Mandalorian because it's more adopting the culture of that. And those 6 things that I mentioned are the 6 tenets or the rasonar of the Mandalorian culture.
And how does that culture translate into humans like us here on Earth? I mean, I know that with my exposure to the Mandalorian so far, you guys have always talked about, we're family, we're closeness. You do a lot of charity work. I know that just a few weeks ago, there was a special needs child in Tulsa, Oklahoma that got a service dog or a check for a service dog.
Story, Robert?
Yeah, would you like to?
Well, I remember seeing one of our members share it in our Facebook group that there was a young man in Tulsa, Oklahoma. His mom was asking for help. He has special needs and he was really in need of a service dog. But the service dog, if you're familiar with service dogs at all, service dogs are not cheap. So one of our members here in Oklahoma contacted Tom Hutchins, who is the founder of our organization, also known as Mandalore the Uniter, on Facebook. Really great guy. So anyway, one of our local members contacted Mr. Hutchins and told him about this kid and said no problem.
Little Warriors International.
Little Warriors International. Cut a check. I don't know the exact amount.
But it covered an entirety.
Yeah.
They did a follow-up piece on the kid and said that it was one anonymous donor. So that was pretty much.
Is that the kind of thing that a Star Wars Mando would do, just out of kindness of his heart? I mean, I know that they do have a care for innocence, that they're not the bad guy. There was actually an article written that said, excuse the phrase, but it said, bounty hunters were dicks. I mean, that was the exact quote from the article. And this was, I forget what publication it was. I'll Google it for you later. But yes, I mean, is that what Mandos would do?
Well, like any kind of culture, you're going to have individuals that are different. Where Mandalorians kind of tended to exhibit those characteristics was more within their own culture. You would have, Mandalorians aren't all soldiers, granted they're all taught to fight and things like that, but some of them, you have to have the people back home to support you, manage the home fronts. And the communities would step in places of if a neighbor didn't have something or if they were getting older and were not able to go plow their fields and bring in the grain to help all that, they would go out and do that. So there's that sense of community within their own sphere versus you do have some that would go out and do. I
want to thank you guys for being here today. It's been a lot of fun. Murdala, Winterkill. I had a blast. Today, you know, we're back at Luton XP. They were gracious enough to have us here again. And if you want to check them out, they're in Norman, Oklahoma. If you're in the area, if you're driving through, come in. $5. You can play all the games here. You see in the background. They have other walls of it. They sell all their games here too. And it's a great place to be, relax. Have Wi-Fi, a cafe bar, and things like that. Again, I want to thank you two for being here today and taking time out of your busy schedules to do this. And I think I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid. I might as well. So, why not? I'll join the clan. I want to thank Eddie Park, who from Ponca City, Oklahoma, who made this, and very nice bucket, as it's called. As you can tell, there's a little bondoing and sanding to do, some painting, but I'm sure that this will be a work of art when it's done. So, which reminds me, if you want to do this, again, courtesy of Eddie, he posted some pictures of the helmet before he sold it, so I traced it with Sharpie, and on the back, this is how I envision my vision. So if you're one of those people that like to plan out, you might want to try that as a good measure. So thanks for getting me involved. I really appreciate it. You guys have been a lot of help. I'm Lomax with the Academy.
I'm Mirdala with Catalve.
Winter kill with Catalve.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you click that little button right now, a magic thing's going to happen. It's going to turn from a white and red subscribe button to a red and white subscribed button. Go ahead, check it out. It's magic. See, it worked. Okay, after that, go down below, click the links below. There's a link to just about everything that we mentioned here today. So anything that you're interested in, go ahead and check it out. Keep calm, and remember, Han shot first.